Hi, what's up everybody? Coach Morris, back with day 4 of Chronicles with Strong. It's our first dynamic effort lower day, and this is the biggest volume day of the week. We're going to talk about accommodating resistance on the lower half. We're going to be implementing some contrast method using max effort isometrics with one of my major leaguers, Joe Hudson. Should be a badass workout. Let's head in. Alright, so first movement and prep today for dynamic effort lower, we're going to do some pelvic cars. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get a nice wide stance, pretty close to what your sumo width would be. Lock your legs out, and the goal here is to work the actual pelvis around the femur. So what I like to do, I like to think that my legs are cemented into the ground as posts, and I'm kind of working my hips around the tops of my thighs, if that makes sense. So I should feel stretch in the adductors, all around into the glutes, back into the hamstrings. And you're basically going to treat this like a hula hoop with straight legs, right? You're going to go a couple times each direction. If you're doing that right, you'll feel that pull all the way on the inside of the leg, down to the possibly inside of the knee, because it's going to hit that hamstring.
See, got this sack, I got this set, but ain't no one's mine. My little bitch say I'm.
See, if you can look at how he's like cocking, he's kind of cocking the hips to each direction. He's almost like drawing a square, right? So he's getting like as much tilt to the right, then he's pushing it forward, moving it around, then he's getting as much tilt to the left. That's how you really want to segment each angle, different closing angles and opening angles of the hip joint. And the pelvic setup in this
so cold, I think I'm done with ice. Birds, if I leave her, she gon' die. Well, bitch, you done with life. Okay, then I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. So you got this sack, I got this sack, but ain't no one's mine. My little bitch say I'm.
Alright, so we're gonna move on back to that belt squat walk. I told you guys we use that almost every lower body day. Great way to get a little traction in the lumbar spine, kind of deload some of the compression we've gotten from earlier in the week. Warms up the glutes. He's just marching in place right now, but it's still going to kind of get activation to everything downstairs. He's about 100 pounds in the sled. That's a little too much more than that. Start tiring you out on a dynamic day. So we'll go 2 or 3 rounds of 60-second marches in place. Dude, Joe, who's that guy you're working out with? That's sexy.
I gotta zoom in on the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. Both trained, he's been on different teams. All 3? Yeah, each season.
I'm gonna be living on those 1-year contracts.
Came to me from the Reds. Then we went to the Angels.
I've been on 4 teams now, didn't I?
Oh, I guess you have. That's right. Cardinals. Now?
I'm wearing Angel shorts. I'm not even on their team. Fuck it. It's always not that weird.
Big booty, man. Big bro.
Think of how much knowledge I'm scooping up from all these organizations.
Dude, each one have a different philosophy.
Kind of. In a way.
Woo! Burn! All right, so to really hit and kind of bring the whole posterior chain together up into the upper back, we're gonna do Banded Good Morning. So you can see Joe right here. Nice semi-stiff knees, lots of hinge to the hips. He's just firing those hamstrings, finishing with the glutes, bringing his hips all the way through. Semi-close stance. You don't want to be too much wider than your hips. That way you can get all 3 parts of the hamstring. What's up, Katie?
He's filming from behind. You're gonna get a lot of female followers now. This gets on Instagram.
They're gonna start making you work out in baseball pants.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
We get tighter and tighter.
So we're still putting into play that CNS priming with the plyo swing. It's basically just trying to get as high off this thing as possible, get as much recruitment as possible, launch yourself off the pad, and then a quick reversal once you do hit the pad. So you get a little bit of that stretch shortening. That's going to prep us for our overspeed eccentrics that we're going to use on dynamic effort day with our accommodating resistance.
You made it out Kentucky after all that.
Lockout. It looks good. Speed looks great. Speed looks great. So I got Joe running off of 50% off of 450, and then 35% band tension. So we're running right about 85%. What we found is higher band tensions tend to work better with deadlifts because of the way the strength curve is. You really want to accommodate for that change in resistance real quick. Because the range of motion is a little bit shorter than like on a full depth squat or a box squat or something like that.
You know that big jack crazy rants on extremes into the game.
Boom, good. Notice how when he pulls, there's no more of this. You see a lot of guys pull sumo, that ass kicks up, right? So what's happening is their hamstrings are weak and then they finish with their back. We've gotten his hamstrings and his glutes to a point where he creates abduction and that lifts the pelvis, and his back is just solid the entire time. So that's a sumo deadlift right there. My chefs could so let me on, that's all Good, good, good.
Thank God, like, I got over that minor league shit. I make
YouTube boys. Get some calves or something.
big league calves right here.
I'm working on mine.
I can hit the isos right now.
All right, so come in, face that way. So this is a West Side Barbell Smith Jones static dynamic machine. It's the only one in use at the facility right now. We're testing it out. As a lot of you know, I was like one of the first guys to really push isometrics and static overcome by dynamic a few years ago after learning it from Louis and them. It's been a huge staple with my baseball population. The big thing with isometrics max effort is that even though it's maximal recruitment at different joint angles and positions, you get the benefit of affecting a joint angle up to 15 degrees above and below whatever angle you're actually executing the isometric at. That's number one. Number two, because there's no actual movement, you're still getting maximal recruitment because you're building the mechanical tension in the muscle. However, there's no filament sliding, so the tissue is not gliding, and there's no joint shearing because there's no actual movement at the joint. So you're getting all of the bang of max effort with none of the buck. So what I'm gonna do today though is we're gonna use static overcome by dynamic method, and we're gonna lock him out at just about a knee level max effort for about 3 seconds. And I'm gonna push the trigger on this, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna release, and it's gonna let him basically take that maximal motor unit recruitment or that buildup that we've accomplished in the max effort ISO, and then he's gonna apply that to a submaximal weight or very light weight. This is why it is the most effective form of strength conditioning, because before this machine, there was no way to apply maximal motor unit recruitment or maximal force to a sub-maximal object to create high speeds. That's what we can do here. So go ahead and hop in that nice sumo setup. Give me a max effort pull. Pull, 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 knees open, knees open, knees open. Keep pulling. Good. So as you can see, he gets to a point of maximal strain, and then when I release that, he flies through it. So he's applying all motor units that are currently firing in that ISO now to a sub-maximal movement to finish it.
Just to come look at it.
Utility employee.
Pull. Good chest. Nice, very nice. Know what you gotta fill into. Pull. Way better. Way better. No, like I'm afraid. Wish I had those 5 sets ago. No. For the jump today, I'm gonna do a barbell squat jump. So you gotta be careful with these because the volume stacks up real quick. We tend to stick with box jump variations as much as possible because the box jump, what it really does is it eliminates the impact volume that we're getting when we come back down to the earth. So in the regular squat jump, you're gonna get the force production off the ground, but you're gonna get the resulting impact, ground force impact once you return to the earth because of gravity pulling you back down, which can easily be 2.5 times your body weight. Obviously adding a barbell and extra weights to that can amplify that volume pretty quickly. However, it's a hell of a way to develop explosive power and phenomenal leg drive. So I'm gonna do 5 sets of 8 barbell squat jumps this way, or this week in this way. I'm just gonna run with a straight barbell. This sounds conceited as fuck, but I'm getting so strong that I'm not putting enough time on like my soft tissue and tendon work and shit. I'm getting strong and I'm focusing on the strength shit, but I'm not doing the extra FRC, the high volume band work. So I can feel my tendons and stuff taking a fucking pounding. Let's see you, Joe. Gonna throw some curls in. It's essential for Major League Baseball. Farm's gotta look good on Fox.
My bro, that nigga my homie. Count money, fuck hoes. Make sure you get money. We love, we joke, cause all
so you can see he's going a little bit above 90, which is kind of what we want. Most athletic situations are going to have the athlete performing above 90 degrees above parallel. So we'll carry that over into our jumps. Now, Joe being a catcher, we'll do specific work below parallel to work on hip mobility, knee function, make sure that he's able to pop out of the hole too. But most of our training is going to be above parallel. So. I'm going to do a reverse Prowler sled push. I set up a little contraption kind of between the horns to push my back into, and basically it's a great way to get super high volume for your quads and do so in kind of, I hate to use the word, but a functional mindset. It's actually kind of a strongman exercise, so it'll double as a little bit of conditioning, but also get some volume in my quads, where I've kind of laid off my quads for the last like 5 years pretty exclusively. I've actually started to have issues a little bit because my quads aren't quite there with my hamstring, so I got to circle back and start blowing those up. And this is a great way to do that. and still get that quad pump and that volume in the VMO, and really clear out the entire quad sweep without doing something isolated like a leg extension. Still works in a closed chain, and it's really, really good carryover for your squats and your pulls. So. There you go. Fuck. Fuck.
Okay, like this? Yeah.
Alright, so one of the staples for us is super high volume band hamstring curls. What we're doing here is we've got both feet looped into a single monster band, and then we've got his thighs and knees a little elevated on a soft foam yoga pad. What happens is it makes a drop for the hips to kind of sit to the ground and elevates the knees so we get full extension and the hamstring completely lengthen that semitendinosus. And basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna execute pretty explosive hamstring curls. He's gonna try and make his heel kick his butt. Obviously it's not gonna happen, but that's kind of like the tension or the intensity that we wanna put into this exercise. And basically what we want tension from the very start of the movement. So you can see at full length, he's still got a decent amount of tension on the band, so it starts out with decent tension. Go ahead and start curling, Joe. Now what you want to eliminate is you want to eliminate hip rise. So we want to keep, we call it keeping your dick in the dirt. Keep your hips close to the ground, right, and squeeze those hamstrings. And then what'll happen is, as they start to fatigue, you'll see that hip come up. That's kind of where you shut the set down. All right, so next I'm gonna hit a standing safety bar, safety squat bar, good morning. This one's good because in order to get the horns of the safety bar down deep enough, you really have to not just stand wide, but really abduct the femurs, opening those knees so you can fit down in there. So it's great for high hammy, high inner hammy, low back and abs. So I'll blow that up.
I ain't gotta let the gang G you. Metro worth a lot of M's, nigga, me too. Hanging up my earlobes is a rock. Hanging up my waistline is a clock. The body in that casket was a op. I don't throw no bottles, I throw shots. All this drip on me, I need a mop. Balenciaga boxes in the stock. I got 10 freaking girls on a yacht. Finna drown in them, dawg. Finna drown in them. Last altercation got 100 rounds in them. All my spots got a lot of bloodhounds in them. Ain't no furniture, it's just a lot of pounds in them. The purse out hard, and I got the brown in them. What the bummer talk, shot so we don't round in them.
specialized. Just like always on lower days, I'm gonna hit heavy hypers. So I'm gonna roll with what I used for my straight weight on dynamic effort, which was about 405. I'm gonna do that for 4 sets of 20. Same thing, making sure you're getting that big thoracic extension and lumbar extension, or what we call hyper extension. It's really important that you're gonna decelerate these on the way down and then reverse the movement using the glutes, the hamstrings, pointing the toes, and really controlling it. If it starts to swing too much, you're not gonna get anything out of the actual hyper. You're not gonna keep tension on the musculature, and that's what's very, very important, not only for the development of soft tissue and the musculature in the lower back, but also for the decompression of lumbar spine.
Say they want some of that trap talk, right? I get a brick, let it move up. The kids need some, but it's still talk. Smoke with the pilot in the sky bar. The color ain't candy with an umbrella. But guess no problems can stand together. I left my arm in general. Turn the bitch from none to a Cinderella. They said they want some kind of raw shit. Raw shit, turn it up, I'ma sit in the car. Yeah, if you turn up your lights, you gon' see me at night. You know I'm a motherfucking star. You know you can't go leave your blood in the car. Yeah, you walk down on your life, you stuck in the center.
Alright, so I ended up with 82,000 pounds of volume today, which is perfect. My goal is to hit twice the volume that I did on max effort, and I came in right around 40,000 pounds of volume on max effort lower. So that concludes our first week of the first wave of Chronicles of Strong. Next week we're going to be re-attacking this wave. There are going to be some specialized that change based on what I saw this week that I didn't like, some things advanced that I did like, and we're going to be slowly pushing up that volume of dynamic effort and selecting maxes based off of weaknesses that I figured out on the first 2 max effort days. So tune in on Monday. We'll see you back.